I'm going to show you the secret to drawing 100 different tattoo things over 100 videos. So let's get it started, people, with the Plague Doctor. This is one of my favourite things to draw. I love drawing the Plague Doctors. They're just so fun and they're really easy, so you're going to do this exactly like I do. I'm just going to use some Procreate here on an iPad Pro, and I'm going to use the standard pens that come with Procreate. So you're going to have access to all of these already. So you got monoline, which is in the calligraphy. It's just a really nice even line. Technical pencil, which is in the pencil sketching section. Technical pen, which is in the pen. Soft airbrush, which is in the airbrush, and medium spray paint nozzle, which is in the spray paint. Bing bang bosh, really easy. So let's create a few layers up here. Let's go for the top. I'm going to use the technical pencil. I'm going to use a dark red to begin with, so it's going to look like this. So let's jump straight into this. Let's get ourselves a nice circle, like so. Once we have the circle, we're going to bring off a curved line, real simple like this, and bring another curved line just like this into that circle. So touching the top part and the bottom part. Bring a little line just in between that circle, just around here. And I like it just around here, get a small circle, which is where the eye is going to go. So you can already see kind of the structure where it's kind of going. And on top of the head here, I'm just going to add the box. Like so. And I'm going to create this kind of wiggly line, like so. You can have it straight if you want, but I always like to get this nice kind of curve to the hat on top. And then once you have that at the bottom here, I'm just going to get this line coming from here, going roughly from the center of the circle, curving like so, and creating that. So we're creating this kind of fan shape at the bottom. So it's going to be where his kind of top sits. So it's the basic structure. It's really nice and simple, but it really does work really nice and well. I'm going to turn that transparency down just a little bit now. Create a layer above, and let's zoom in and start getting a little bit of detail. So I'm going to start off with this eye. So we're going to sketch in this nice perfect circle. So just draw a circle and tap the screen. And if you draw another circle, just trace around that circle. Don't worry about if it's 100% accurate. Press and hold. And now when you do this, you're going to resize roughly in line with your circle. So you've got these two circles here, and this just gives us that really kind of cool eye to work with to begin with. I'm going to bring in this line just coming off the back like this and this. So it's kind of like the goggles. I'm going to create this curved line just coming up here, like so. Just so we can have this kind of goggle bit for it to kind of sit off of. And I'm going to bring in this line just here, and I'm going to a little detail line maybe just kind of around here, like so. You just start to create interesting shapes at this point and kind of build up the kind of costume. So now we have that, I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to bring in this line a little bit more refined. So I'm going to bring this line around like this. And this one coming down here, just like so. I'm going to bring in this other line, which is going to come through the center part now, just a little bit lower than the center, like this. Now I might create a little secondary line, just copying it across like that. So that's going to give us that nice kind of cool beak that you kind of want with the Plague Doctor. And now this hat line here, we're going to bring this line across like this, and I'm going to double this up now, so it's got that little bit of thickness just across the top of it. A nice even width all the way across. And then that top hat, I'm going to bring this line up. A bit like this, but I'm going to have it kind of like just edging out a little bit, I think. Create a slight kind of curve to the top of this. Little lines come across here. Two little lines just there, I think. So that's going to give us the hat. And I'm going to create another little line just here. Just kind of sell that front part of the face just there. And now the face normally has this kind of scarf kind of wrapping. So what I like to do here, let's bring in this curved line underneath. So it comes from this line just here. Now we're going to create another curve, just kind of curving into it. And create another one just here if we want. And I'm going to get it curving off the other side here. So I'm going to create this curve, coming like this. And this can connect up there. You can always add another little line or something if you want just in there. Let's get this a little bit chunkier just underneath this neck. And I'm going to have this now coming over and kind of going over the shoulder. You can always turn this like a scarf if you want it kind of coming off, which always looks pretty cool. And now we're going to come down to his top. So I'm going to bring this across like this. I like to divide it up, so as if he's kind of wearing this kind of like overcoat sort of thing. So I'm going to bring in two lines just here, like this. This is going to curve up this way. This is going to curve up this way. And almost like that kind of ruffian kind of scarf bit here. So I'm going to have this little section just here with a few little lines. And this can kind of connect there. So a little bit higher just on this part. And I like to get that really nice traditional kind of pattern. So I'm going to get two lines just going in symmetry with this. And I'm going to have dots kind of coming throughout this kind of section nice and evenly on both sides. Now this part here can just be simple black. I might put like a little shade. And I'm going to add a little pattern work just here. So I'm going to create these little kind of curves just coming through this beak. Just there. So that pretty much does it. So I'm going to create a layer above now. I'm going to switch to black. I'm going to go to monoline, which is this nice, even, bold line like this. So nice, even thickness. I'm going to make my line nice and bold like this. And now we're just going to go over everything. So let's go where we started. Go like this. Go around it again. Like I said, just trace it, hold it, click, and drag down. And that'll give us the eye. Now we're just going to keep tracing over our lines. You can always hold and get like the perfect edge. It's one of the little cheats you can kind of do with Procreate. I tend not to do it if I can, but when I'm doing it on like tutorials, it just makes things a little bit quicker and easier. Like so. So just keep your line work going. Just try to get this like nice smooth motion. I tend to kind of lock my hand when I'm doing this. So there's not much movement in my wrist. And I can kind of just move my hand like this and it kind of guides the line. So let's get this hat bit in here. And don't feel like you have to go as fast as me. I am aware that I tend to do these pretty fast sometimes. You know, go at your own speed. You can always pause. You can always slow me down. My voice does sound amazing when you slow me down. I know I do talk a little bit fast. And I do try to control that, but it gets hard. I get carried away. And when I get carried away, I realise I'm talking way too quick. And then when I see the editing, I'm like, oh, not even I can understand me. So I do understand your pain, people. Don't worry about that. But the good thing about this design, it comes together really quick. And it just kind of like, you kind of get to that stage and it just kind of appears there. And you're like, wow. You know, I just done that quite rapidly. I'm going to make the flow, the part here just a bit more kind of fluid. And you can make this dead straight, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a flow just to make it a little bit more interesting. Just like so. Just like so. Lines in there. And just like that, we pretty much have our Plague Doctor. So we turn off our sketch layer now, so we just have our lines. And we're left this really cool looking Plague Doctor now. So should we shade them in? I think we should. So let's click on this, click on your line and click reference. So now everything we select is going to select within this. And because it's got like a nice big bold outline, it's going to easily select every little part of it. So let's create a layer now below. So one of these low ones we just had here. And I'm going to go for, let's go for medium nozzle. I always like it. It's my go-to brush. I'm going to use the selection tool, automatic. And I'm going to click and drag and just make sure this bit up here, the little selection threshold is in the high 90s. If it's in the high 90s, you're not going to get this annoying white outline bit. But if you get a white outside, that's why, because the selection threshold is just way too low. So select the area. I'm going to select my nozzle quite big. And I'm going to come in up and down motion like this. Just real simple. And then as I get there, I'm just going to ease the pressure off a little bit and just go a bit more gentle to help the fade out. Just like that. I'm going to get a nice highlight just in the center. Now I'm going to come down to these parts just here. And again, up and down like this. And I'm going to bring it over that shoulder bit just there. Bring this across. I want to come across quite a bit. I just want like a little highlight. I don't want nothing crazy, just a little bit of shine just in it. Will do the trick for me. There we go. Now I'm going to select that beak. And I'm going to bring this black across the top like this. And I'm going to keep following direction. So see, I'm just going backwards and forwards with the direction. Like so. Just get this bottom bit just here. And then just run these edges. So here, I just want to select like the outside edge. And where the hat sits on top, so I'm just going to go across that bottom part of the hat. Just like this. Same bit here now, so I'm going to put a bit of black just here, coming across. Don't go too crazy because you don't want to lose the features. Like if you go too much here, you're going to lose this kind of feature, which we do not want. But we still want to be able to get those corners and kind of like have that shade in there, you know, like always remember when it comes to traditional, you know, the black shading really is your friend. The more the better sometimes. So I'm just going to select here. Just going to freehand select this area just so I can kind of get around this edge. When you have an area like this where it just kind of fades off to nothing, sometimes it's easier just to freehand select that. So just selection tool, click on freehand and just draw over the top. I know sometimes I do it quite rapidly, so when I do it quite rapidly, I'll try to go back in and correct myself to so you guys know. So like here, I'm going to draw. And the area I draw is only going to let me draw within that area now. See? Just makes it nice and easy. I ain't got to worry about going over edges. Again, it is one of those advantages of traditional. If you are done on paper, then just be careful with your edges. You know, just kind of shade like you normally would. Back to the automatic. I'm just going to select here, here, and here. And I just want to get a little bit of this edge just here. Like so. And I'm going to go in this eye. I'm going to black it out initially. And I'm going to click and hold on my eraser tool. And that's now going to make my eraser the same as what I just had. So it's going to make it the spray paint tool. And I just want to get a little line just cutting through the middle. So I get this little shine just in the eye. And then we have one last little area that I want to get. It's just a little bit just underneath this ruffian tie bit. Just there. Now the one thing I am going to quickly do, which I did forgot a second ago. So I'm going to go back to my monoline. This should be a nice good size. I did say about adding the dots in here, so I'm going to add the dots. So I'm going to go, no, a bit bolder than that. Bit bolder than that. Perfect. So I'm going to do 2 on the outside. I'm going to pick my middle part, so in between those. And I'm going to put 2 dots evenly in those gaps. It's just a nice, easy way of just kind of evenly spacing them out. So on the sides, 1 in the middle, and then 2 on the inside. Real simple, just like that. I think that's the area I'm going to put dots. So I can sometimes put it in dots here, but I'm going to keep it smaller, and I'm just not really a fan of how that's going to look. So we have that. So I'm going to go under my shading now. Just create a new layer. I'm going to select my red to begin with, because I love this red. I'm going to drag and drop this just there. Continue. Where else should I put this? That could be interesting. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to go too crazy with the red, I don't think. I might come back to it. But for now, I'm going to select me a nice kind of light brown tone. Go back to my spray paint medium nozzle. And I want to get the scarf bit, because I always like this being in this kind of like brownish kind of tone. So I'm going to bring this, and kind of where we've done our shading, I'm just kind of going to go over those shading areas. I still want to kind of get that skin break. I don't want it to be completely solid. You know, I might add like maybe like a yellow underneath. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But you're kind of just going where that shading was, but just a bit further. Just like that. I like that. Does a trick. Aha. This is where I was going to add the red. I was looking at thinking, where was I going to add the red again? In the hat bit, just up here. There we go. And I'm going to select a dark red now. And I just want a little bit of dark red just on that outside edge. Just there, there. And a little bit there. So I'm kind of doing the shading, but with the dark reds. And now we got that. I'm going to come back to that brown that I just used. I want to create like a lighter version, so I'm going to select a slightly lighter version now. I'm just going to color drop this onto those 2 parts just there. Now I'm going to get me a nice solid yellow. Now I'm going to infill those areas just there, there, there. And maybe there, so it's got a nice bit of kind of consistency through the whole thing. I like that. And now select yourself like a nice kind of brownish kind of tone. I'm just going to select those areas we just done. So I'm going to select there, there, and there to begin with. And very similar to what we just done, so I'm going to put a little bit of brown just on the edges. Nothing too crazy. Just so there's a little bit of tone in it. Nothing much. A little bit maybe just on here, like so. And there we have it, people. That is how you draw a Plague Doctor. I hope you like it. If you have, you know, and you sort of draw it, send it to me. I love seeing what you guys do. We're going to do like 100 of these as well, so I'm going to go through everything I can so you can have a really good understanding of how to draw tattoo designs, going through all kind of crazy stuff from traditional to neo-traditional and all kind of crazy bits. So yeah, if you want to see more people, check out the other videos. It might be further along. Maybe we'll track some of the other videos. But for now, people, I'm the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.